everyone! Today I'll be answering some of your questions about being non-binary, coming out, all that jazz. So sit down, or if you're already sitting, let's enjoy this together. Okay, let's get going. I have the questions right here on my phone. Thank you for asking so many great questions. There were a lot of good ones, so thanks for that because you made this video possible. We're gonna start with a really basic one. What do you identify as? I am confused. It's okay to be confused. Maybe you've missed this. I know the person who asked this follows me, but we're not like that close in real life. So this might be news to you. But I am gender fluid and I use the pronouns they, them. In relation to this, there's also a question about when I came out. I came out about 1.5 years ago for the first time. And then it was a really long process of coming out to everyone I knew. I started with the ones that were that I knew were gonna be accepting, and then kind of worked my way up to the more difficult ones, which is a process I recommend because it will give you a bit of self-confidence to be accepted at first, and then you will be able to deal with those harder processes later. On the topic of coming out, you also asked who was the first person I came out to officially, and it was my boyfriend, Rickard, because, well, I knew he was going to be accepting of me and the entire package that comes with me, because he's a very open person and it was really easy, and he's also the person that's closest to me. So it felt like a natural way to go with him as the first person. You also asked me if I had come out to any professors. For those of you who don't know, I am currently a student at a university and I have quite a lot of different professors. And the answer shortly is yes. Yes, I have. And some have been a bit confused because I do present very feminine at times, and for that generation it can be kind of difficult to get, especially if you present very strongly either in a feminine or a masculine way. Mostly they have been very accepting, and when I've talked about preferred pronouns, there have been like a few slip-ups. I'm not gonna lie, there has been a few, but it's also been very noticeable that they're not like willfully ignoring my preferred pronouns. It's been very obvious that they have just like accidentally used the wrong ones, which is okay. As long as you're learning and it's an accident, I think it's fine. How do you know you're not cis? And you also added asking for a friend. That's a difficult question. It usually, or at least for me, it took a long time to realize that the feelings that I had were due to this. I had a lot of body dysmorphia. I still do have some of that. I've been able to work with it though, so it's a bit less. And I just thought that was something that was related to my weight or other things about my appearance. And then once I got to be comfortable with my weight and my appearance in general, I noticed, oh, I still have these feelings, I still have these thoughts. So once I realized that those weren't going away, I started thinking about, well, what might be the cause of these feelings if it's not something that's changed already. So I think the best thing that you can do, if you're kind of wondering if you might be non-binary or if you might want to use other pronouns, then the ones that you are currently using is to, first of all, talk to your non-binary friends about it. We're gonna be very understanding and probably very open to your ideas. And my biggest recommendation is to try it out. You can change your pronouns later, it's not set in stone. I started by going by just any pronouns, so I used all of them for a long time. And now I realized that I don't really like he and she all that much, so I decided to just go with they, them, because it's the most neutral one and it fits me perfectly. So don't be afraid to try things out. It's perfectly fine to change your mind later. One of you asked, I'm thinking about coming out to my partner, do you have any tips? Coming out is always going to be a stressful situation. I don't know what kind of relationship you and your partner have, but it's still going to be probably difficult. It's one of those things where you can't really... You're going to want to wait for the ideal time, but there isn't really an ideal time. You're always going to be able to find an excuse to not do it right then. But a few things that I do think are important to think about is that the environment is calm. You're both sober, of course, because a difficult conversation should not be undertaken when you're either drunk or high or something. Just be sober. It's a lot easier that way. And of course, do it somewhere where you feel safe, where there's a possibility to, if things do get ugly and you need somewhere to go, you can prepare that beforehand. And, you know, safety first. Always safety first. But I do want to add that if you do come out to your partner and they don't accept you, that's probably not a person that you want in your life anyway. At least that's my philosophy. If you're not here to accept me for who I am, then I don't want you around. And I think that's something that would benefit a lot of people to think about. So, short list. A space where you're safe, the surroundings are calm, and you're calm, your partner is calm, there are no strong feelings from before, both clear-headed, and just in general, safety and comfort first. If you don't feel safe and you don't feel calm, maybe it's better to wait. I mean, you can be a little bit nervous, but if you actually feel agitated or really, really anxious, you might want to wait for just a bit. Then a personal question. You asked me if I'm going to have any surgeries or go on any hormones, and while I think that's a personal question, I also think it's important to talk about it, because being non-binary doesn't mean that you necessarily have to get surgeries or have to do hormones. And I'm currently in a stage of my life where I don't see that happening for me. I don't want any hormones necessarily, and also the surgeries are so big that I don't want to rush into anything. And I also, since I am gender fluid, I am comfortable with my body a lot of the time, and I don't really see the use in changing something that I am comfortable with, you know? So, short answer, no, I'm not gonna do that, at least not for the time being. You also asked me what I think of neo-pronouns. If you don't know what neo-pronouns are, you can do a quick Google search and you'll realize that there are pronouns that are not just she, they, and he. There are a lot of other pronouns too that have been made for people who feel so outside of the gender spectrum that they want something that is also outside the traditional use. I don't really know a lot of neo-pronouns, if I'm being honest. I have never met a person in real life who uses neo-pronouns, but I know there are a lot of people out there who do. And if you want to use those, that's perfectly fine with me. I just see them as another way to refer to you, and that's it. I know there are a lot of people who have really strong feelings about neo-pronouns in the LGBT community, but I really don't. I mean, if you want me to refer to you as, well, pretty much anything, I'm gonna do that because I respect you as a person. That's it. That's my opinion. And then our final question, because this video is getting longer than I wanted it to be already. You asked me what I do for dysphoria. That's a very difficult question. I do a lot of different things for dysphoria. I might wear men's clothing or gender-neutral clothing, makeup or no makeup. I might contour my face to make it look more masculine. There's a lot of great tips and tutorials online if you're interested in that. I also use different scented things depending on what I prefer for the day. If I'm feeling a bit more masculine, I might use, for example, soap that is more traditionally male scented. Same goes for deodorant, hairstyle. I also change my nails. Right now they're pretty long and traditionally feminine. But when I feel more masculine, I usually cut them shorter, and then when I feel more feminine, I let them grow out. I might put some polish on. You know, just little things that make me feel more at home in my body, depending on what I'm experiencing for the day. I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. It's been really fun talking to you about this and answering all your questions. And thanks again for some really great questions. I didn't expect to get quite so many, actually. I expected to get just a couple, maybe 3, 4, but I got almost double that, so that was fun. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up right here. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you later.